2 wives, 2 rings, one lie the size of a planet. Alexander built them separate universes so the worlds would never collide. Alara lived in a glass-walled penthouse overlooking Manhattan, bold art on every wall, Afrobeats spilling from the speakers. Isabella had a restored farmhouse 2 hours north, wildflowers in mason jars, canvases leaning like quiet secrets, private jets, fake board meetings, burner phones, and a calendar app that deserved an Oscar for Best Supporting Deception. He told Alara he was in Singapore when he was really painting sunsets with Isabella in Tuscany. He told Isabella he had a crisis in Tokyo when he was actually dancing under the stars with Alara in the Maldives. And for 8 perfect months, the lie held. Then one Tuesday night, everything cracked wide open. Alara stood in their marble bathroom, holding a white stick with 2 pink lines. Her reflection stared back, wide-eyed, terrified, overjoyed. She ordered an Alexander's favorite truffle pizza, lit candles, wore the red silk robe he loved. When he walked through the door after another brutal day at the office, she met him with trembling hands and tears that sparkled like diamonds. "Baby," she laughed through happy sobs. "We're having a baby." Alexander's face froze. For one endless second, the billionaire who could buy islands forgot how to breathe. Then he pulled her close, kissed her forehead, told her this was the happiest moment of his life. And inside his chest, 2 hearts warred. One screaming with genuine joy for the child growing under Alara's skin, the other calculating how many more weeks he could keep Isabella in the dark. The pregnancy became a ticking bomb dressed in pastel onesies. Alara bloomed. She glowed darker, richer, more powerful every day. She played Burna Boy for the baby, rubbed shea butter in slow circles, whispered Igbo lullabies against her belly. She wanted Alexander at every appointment, every 3D ultrasound, every midnight craving run for plantain chips and ice cream. And he showed up because he did love her, loved the way she said his name like a prayer, loved how fiercely she was already protecting their child. But every minute with Alara was a minute stolen from Isabella. Isabella felt the distance like cold creeping under the door. Their calls grew shorter. His hugs felt rushed. She started painting again, furious strokes of crimson and black, canvases titled things like Ghost and Half Love. One night, she found a receipt in his coat pocket. Maldives resort, 2 passengers, dates that overlapped with the week he swore he was alone in Dubai. She told herself it was a mistake. She almost believed it. Alexander started mixing up their worlds. He called Alara Bella, once while rubbing her swollen feet. He bought Isabella the same scented candle Alara adored. He scheduled 2 anniversary dinners on the same weekend and had a fake food poisoning to escape one. The walls closed in. The guilt became a living thing that followed him from bedroom to bedroom, that Alara's belly rounded, beautiful and undeniable. At 30 weeks, she demanded he clear his schedule for the baby shower, a celebration of heritage and new life. Alexander promised. He blocked the date in red. Then he looked at the calendar and felt his stomach drop. Isabella had already planned a surprise gallery opening for the exact same night, her first solo show in 2 years, the one she poured every unsaid tear into. She had texted him the invitation weeks ago with shaking, excited emojis. "Please be there, Alex." It's everything that he stared at 2 invitations on his phone. One covered in anchor print and baby elephants. The other stark white with a single broken heart painted in real gold leaf. And for the first time in his charmed life, Alexander Voss realized money couldn't buy him another 24 hours in a day. The lie had grown too big to feed. He kissed Alara goodbye that morning, hand resting on the curve where his son kicked like he already knew Daddy was a fraud. "I'll handle everything," he promised, voice smooth as ever. Then he stepped into the elevator, heart jackhammering, knowing the next 72 hours would either rewrite his future or burn both his kingdoms to the ground as the doors closed. Alara smiled at her reflection. rubbing slow circles over the life they'd made, never guessing that across the state another woman was framing a painting titled "The Man Who Was Never Fully Mine." The storm was coming, and when it hit, no amount of billions could buy him shelter. The storm didn't knock. It kicked the door off its hinges. Friday night, Isabella's gallery opening. White walls, champagne flutes, critics circling like elegant sharks. She stood in a backless black dress, smiling while her heart bled onto every canvas. Alexander never showed. His phone went straight to voicemail. At 11:07 p.m., she stepped into the cold Soho air, opened an anonymous email on her phone, and watched a 30-second video of Alexander cutting a cake that read, "Baby Voss coming soon," while Alara, radiant and very pregnant, laughed in his arms. The sound that left Isabella's throat wasn't human. Saturday morning, Alara woke to 100 missed calls and a single text from an unknown number. "Ask your husband why he missed his other wife's art show last night." Attached, a marriage certificate. Isabella's name in black and white. Alara didn't scream. She sat on the edge of the bed, one hand cradling her belly, and felt the baby kick hard, like he already understood betrayal. Then she dialed Alexander. He answered on the first ring, voice thick with sleep and terror. "Get here. Now." He arrived in 43 minutes, tie crooked, eyes bloodshot. Alara stood in the living room, holding both marriage certificates like loaded guns. The silence stretched until it snapped. "Choose a grave to dig, Alexander, because one of us is going to bury you." He fell to his knees. Words poured out. Apologies, excuses, childhood wounds, fear of being alone, fear of choosing wrong. None of them landed. Alara listened with the calm of a woman who had already decided everything. "Get out. Come back when the baby is born. If you're still breathing after that, we'll talk." He left. The door closed softer than it should have. Isabella didn't wait for explanations. She packed a single bag, drove to the farmhouse, and burned every painting he had ever touched. The smoke rose black against the dawn. Then she did something neither of them expected. She called Alara, not to fight, to talk. They met 3 days later in a quiet Brooklyn cafe. Alara, 36 weeks heavy, walked in like royalty. Isabella stood up, eyes swollen but chin high. They looked at each other for a long time. "You're more beautiful than the pictures," Isabella said. "You're braver than I would have been," Alara answered. Coffee turned into 3 hours. Tears turned into laughter, turned into a pact. Whatever happened next, they would not let him turn them into enemies. Labor came early. Water broke in the middle of the night, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Alara's mother speed-dialed Alexander while friends rushed her to Mount Sinai. He ran red lights across the bridge, still wearing the same shirt he'd had on when Alara threw him out. He made it to the delivery room, just as the contractions peaked. Alara, drenched in sweat, looked at him with fire in her eyes. "You don't deserve to be here," she panted. "I know," he whispered. "Let me stay anyway." For him. She was too tired to argue. She grabbed his hand and crushed his fingers until bones ground together. 9 minutes later, Jamal Alexander Voss slid into the world, crying loud enough to wake ancestors on both sides of the ocean. Dark curls, Alara's nose, Alexander's stubborn chin. Perfect. Alexander cut the cord with shaking hands. When the nurse placed Jamal on Alara's chest, something inside the billionaire cracked, wide open, and never closed again. Isabella came the next morning. She stood in the doorway, holding a tiny hand-knitted blanket the color of sunrise. Alara looked up and nodded once. Isabella crossed the room, kissed the baby's forehead, then kissed Alara's cheek. "Thank you for letting me see him," she said. "I needed to know he's real." "He is," Alara answered. "And he's going to have 2 mothers who know exactly what a man is capable of." Alexander tried to speak. Both women looked at him the way oceans look at sinking ships, but he moved into the guest room of the Manhattan penthouse. No more private jets, No more lies. He woke at 3 a.m. for feedings, changed diapers with military precision, learned to warm bottles one-handed while Alara slept. He sold the farmhouse without telling Isabella first. She found out from the realtor and sent him a single text. Good. Stocks crashed. Tabloids feasted. He let them. Every headline was a brick in the wall he now had to climb. Therapy 5 days a week. Alara sat in half the sessions, arms crossed, daring him to waste her time. He didn't. He spoke about his terror of abandonment, his hunger to be everything to someone, his cowardice dressed up as charm. Alara listened, sometimes cried, sometimes walked out, but she always came back. 6 months later, on a warm September evening, Alexander stood in the nursery while Jamal slept. Alara leaned in the doorway, watching him rock an empty cradle out of habit. I'm not the same man who married 2 women in one day, he said quietly. I know, she answered. That man is dead. I'm still deciding if I like who's standing here now. He turned, eyes wet. Marry me again. One time. One wife. One life. I'll spend every day proving I'm worth a risk. She studied him for a long time. Then she walked over, placed Jamal's tiny hand in his, and said the words that rewrote everything. Earn it. He did. Slowly. Painfully. Honestly. Isabella found love again with a sculptor who had never heard of Alexander Voss. She sent Jamal a birthday card every year, signed Aunt ISA, always with a new painting in close point 2 years later. On a quiet beach in Zanzibar, Alexander and Alara renewed vows under a baobab tree. Just them, Jamal, and the ocean. No guests, no cameras, no secrets left to hide. He slipped a single platinum band on her finger, the only one he would ever give again. When the sun dipped low, Alara looked at him and finally smiled the way she had on their first wedding day. Now you're really mine, she said. And I always will be, he answered. They walked back to their villa hand in hand, Jamal running ahead, chasing waves, 3 silhouettes against the gold. Proof that even the worst mistakes can lead to the right forever if someone is brave enough to burn the old world down and build a new one from the ashes. Love didn't give Alexander a second chance. Alara did, and that made all the difference.